What is up, Addicts? In this video, I'll be giving a guide for this week's normal time trial, RC Bandito time trial, and the premium race totaling over $300,000. Remember, the time trials can only be completed once a week for the full $100,000 payout. The premium race, however, can be completed in a limited amount of times with a 48-minute cooldown between each win. Also keep in mind that rocket-powered / flying vehicles cannot be used in time trials. So, starting off with the time trial this week, which is Observatory, I highly recommend either the Hakuchu Drag, Shotaro, or a Batty 801 for this time trial. Now this time trial does cut it pretty close with the time, so you're definitely going to need a fast motorcycle in order to beat it. In terms of route, this time trial has a few different shortcut routes you can take. The first one is more intended for bikes to get the best time possible, cutting through a bunch of off-road sections. And then the second route is longer, but a lot easier and more consistent if you just want to beat the time trial and get it out of the way. And this second route I'm talking about is what you want to use if you're attempting the time trial with a car. So as always, I will be attempting to use the podium vehicle of the current event week on these time trials if they're quick enough to complete them. So this week we have the Nero Custom on the podium. This car is a pretty good all-rounder, but it's a lot slower than the Krieger and the Emirates, for example. So I attempted the off-road route with the Nero Custom for about an hour. I was really trying to beat it, but I was unsuccessful. Again, that route is more intended for bikes. Then I said, you know what, let me give it a shot with the Krieger, which is a lot faster than Nero Custom, and I was still unsuccessful. I got a lot closer, but I was still unsuccessful. Again, as I stated, that route more intended for bikes. So I said, you know what, let me just stick with the second route, the easier, more consistent one that has a lot more road. And I was able to just barely beat the time with the Nero Custom. I did it with the Nero Custom by only 1 second, which was a very intense run. So here's my run that I barely beat with a fully upgraded Nero Custom. Moving on to this week's RC Bandito time trial, which is Construction Site 1. As always, you need to own an RC Bandito in order to participate in these. So this RC time trial is pretty tricky if you've never done it before because of the tight sections and the workers walking around. But honestly, just take it slow and you should be able to complete it pretty easily. This time trial does give quite a bit of extra time. You'll see in my run that I beat it by quite a substantial margin. Again, this particular time trial is not about speed, it's about consistency. So make sure to brake a lot for the tight sections and let off the throttle during the higher speed turns. And lastly, when you use your brakes, make sure to press them in about halfway, not all the way, or you might lose control of your Bandito. And lastly, we have this week's premium race, which is taking off. This one is restricted to the supercars class. I highly recommend either the Emirates, Krieger, or the Vest 8 for this race. This is a very easy race, as it's basically just driving around the airport runways, which we're very much used to already. So just make sure to constantly slipstream your opponents so you don't get left behind. Now there is one turn in particular where people mess up a lot, and that is the last turn with the very narrow road. So for that one, there is a bump right at the entrance of that turn that unsettles most cars and causes them to lose traction and most likely go into the dirt on the right side. So avoid losing traction on that turn and getting through it very easily every time. Make sure to let off the throttle once you approach that corner and then get back on the throttle after you go over that bump. Other than that, again, it's a very easy race as long as you nail that part. But anyways, I will be using a fully upgraded Emirates. And that's it, guys. A normal time trial is pretty easy if you use one of the bikes I mentioned. The RC time trial is pretty difficult if you've never done it before, but just take it slow and brake a lot extra for most of the corners. And this week's premium race is a very easy one as long as you're in the right car. Again, remember guys, you can earn over $300,000 between the three of this week, and setting yourself a goal to beat them is always a lot of fun in my personal opinion. Let me know which one you found most difficult and what vehicles you used down below in the comments. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one.